Right now, the father of the Abundant Life Christian school shooter is out on bond. What online court records are showing.
I'm Jalen Banks, and coming up here from the Fitchburg family reeling with the loss of their 4 horses that were caught in a fire on Sunday.
And later, bringing awareness to child care and its role in our communities as current programs risk running out of money. We welcome you to News 3 Now at 6 Live from our Madison studio. And good evening, I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson.
We begin with continuing coverage of the Abundant Life Christian School shooting. The father of the teen shooter, now out of custody, released on bond.
On Friday, a court commissioner set Jeffrey Ruppnau's bond at $20,000. Ruppnau is charged with 2 felony counts of intentionally selling dangerous weapons to a minor and 1 felony count of contributing to child delinquency. Online court records show Ruppnau must now wear a GPS monitor, have no contact with the Abundant Life Christian School, nor be in the 4900 block of East Buckeye Road, and not possess any firearms. He is accused of allowing his daughter to have easy access to guns, despite knowing about her mental health issues and concerning activities. Ruppnau's preliminary hearing is scheduled for June 9th. An early morning barn fire on Sunday led to the deaths of 4 horses in Fitchburg.
And now the family is picking up the pieces of what's left of their barn while coming to terms with the loss of their beloved horses. News 3 Now's Jalen Banks caught up with the family this afternoon. He has more.
Tragedy struck early Sunday morning at the Pliner family barn in Fitchburg when 4 of their horses were caught in a barn fire. I had the chance to catch up with the family this afternoon on what the horses meant to not only them, but the community as a whole. Sunday, just after 4:30 a.m., fire crews responded to Richardson Street in Fitchburg. There they would find the barn of the Pliner family on fire. Inside the barn, their 4 horses, Colton, Shay, Archer, and Charlie. All 4 were lost in the fire, leaving behind an impact that cannot be measured.
Yeah, I mean, horses are, they're definitely a different breed of animal. They're as big as they are. You have to really watch them closely. Any little thing, any little limp, any little way they hold their head. We have a special bond with them.
The horses not only left a lasting impact on the Pliners, but residents in Fitchburg.
I couldn't even believe the neighbors and how many have come out of the neighborhood to express their sorrows. And basically we have a neighborhood in mourning right now.
Colton, Shay, Archer, and Charlie are now laid to rest next to the field they always spent time together.
They were with each other every day. Now they still are.
The Pliners tell me the barn can be rebuilt, but the love and memories left behind by their 4 beloved horses can never be replaced. For now, reporting in Fitchburg, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Jalen. And now to Milwaukee, where investigators are looking into a deadly fire at an apartment complex yesterday. So far, 5 people have died. Several others were injured and are in the hospital, including a 1-year-old. To escape, these residents had to break windows and use tied-up bed sheets to climb down. The Milwaukee fire chief says the 85-unit apartment was built back in 1968. And that's before sprinkler systems were required by law. Nearly 100 people have been displaced and are getting help from the Red Cross. Well, turning to weather, another beautiful day with warm temperatures. We have First Warn meteorologist Blaze Keller out on our Madison weather patio with your forecast.
That's right. It's been a gorgeous couple of days. We had a busy weekend. We were in the 70s and 80s, both Saturday and Sunday. We're in the 80s now. And now we also get ready for some much needed rain. Cloud cover is going to continue to increase as we head throughout the rest of Monday afternoon, evening, and overnight. Probably no sooner than midnight into the early morning hours on Tuesdays when we start to see that rain move in out of the southeast. You're seeing it there on your screen. Future track taking us to 1 in the afternoon Tuesday. Still seeing hit or miss showers across southern Wisconsin, maybe a thunderstorm or 2 as well. Not expected to be severe, but this is the first of a couple rain chances that are going to return to Wisconsin as we go into this the rest of this upcoming work week. We're still eyeing that chance for some severe weather Thursday, especially Thursday afternoon into the evening. But even Friday into Friday night, we could still see some shower activity as that same low pressure system that brings us a severe weather chance begins to exit the Midwest. So again, we are tracking those alert day conditions on Thursday, not expecting any severe weather between now and then. We're tracking out the timing of the Thursday, what the main threats are, and then what lies ahead for the upcoming weekend in the full forecast.
Okay, thank you, Blaze. The man accused of abducting a pregnant Beaver Dam teen and taking her across state lines now faces charges in a federal court in Arkansas. Gary Day faces several charges, including transportation of a minor to engage in criminal sexual activity and production of child pornography. Day also faces state-level felony charges in Wisconsin and Nebraska. He's accused of taking Sophia Franklin from her home in Beaver Dam on February 2nd. The two were then found in Nebraska April 2nd. Franklin is pregnant and Day is believed to be the father of her unborn child. An arraignment hearing for his case in Wisconsin is set for June 3rd.
Right now, Madison police are investigating a robbery and sexual assault on the city's south side. It happened on West Badger Road. Police say the adult victim was walking to work when an unknown suspect allegedly robbed and sexually assaulted that person. It happened at about 4 in the morning. Police have not identified the suspect. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Madison Police Department.
About $13,000 a year. That is the average cost of childcare for one infant in the state of Wisconsin.
But that cost could go up or programs could disappear altogether, which is why nationwide educators and advocates are participating in a day without childcare today. Armand Rahman explains what could happen if the state doesn't continue to invest in childcare soon.
This classroom right now is empty by choice because educators say without needed funding, many others across the state will have no choice but to be empty forever.
Don't go that far.
Normally, on a Monday morning, little Molly Campbell would be running around here.
Our daughter wouldn't be where she is today without going to Art House.
On a day without childcare.
Even taking time out today was tough, but supporting this is so much more important.
Her father, Chris, couldn't imagine a day without Art House Preschool in Wanakee.
I don't think we would be able to find, one, just childcare quickly, two, it being affordable, and then three, also making sure it's people that we trust.
But if the state doesn't put funding for childcare back in the budget before July, it may get more expensive.
I did honestly send a note out to parents that my tuition will be going up.
To make up about $2,000 a month Heather Murray would be getting from the government, she'd have to go to parents.
It's never easy because I know they're working really hard.
She's one of hundreds of childcare providers across the state who say they would have to raise their tuition if the Childcare Counts program was allowed to run out this June.
It doesn't make any sense how this wouldn't be incentivized by the government.
About a quarter of the state's programs would have to close.
Childcare providers have been receiving checks every month, depending on the number of staff they serve and the number of children they serve.
Governor Tony Evers allocated $480 million towards childcare counts in his budget, but it was removed by the Republican-controlled Joint Finance Committee.
And I am aware that both parties are working on finding those solutions.
Chris says funding childcare should be as easy as ABC because he wants Molly's sister to follow in her footsteps at Art House.
Because the people there are incredible.
Reporting in Wanakee, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Spring Green Senator Howard Markline, the co-chair of the Joint Finance Committee, sent News 3 a statement which reads, in part, quote, using COVID relief money to directly pay providers in hopes that they keep their rates down is a Band-Aid, not a sustainable solution going forward. My colleagues and I will take action on child care in the state budget and throughout the legislative session. We will take a multifaceted approach that will aim to make structural and sustainable reforms, putting more money in the hands of parents and increasing the availability of slots.
Well, cancer continues to be the leading cause of death among children in the U.S., a devastating diagnosis with a hefty price tag. But at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, that treatment is free, thanks to donations. 16-year-old Eloise Mahoney from right here in Madison was diagnosed with a brain tumor when she was just 12.
We're in the hospital. Our kid just had brain surgery and trying to figure out what we do next. Then she said, you qualify for the study in St. Jude, I'll take you. And everybody said, go to St. Jude. That's what you do.
So Eloise and her mom spent months living at St. Jude for her outpatient care in free housing, where they felt taken care of, not just medically, but emotionally. On News 3 Now at 10, we'll share more about Eloise's story and the special anniversary she happens to be celebrating today. And coming up next on News 3 Now at 6, a special new master's program being offered at UW-Whitewater.
Plus, American Airlines adding a new nonstop flight out of Dane County Regional Airport, where and when the new flights are scheduled to start. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. UW-Whitewater will launch a master's program in elementary and middle school education. The program provides a pathway for people with a bachelor's degree to earn a K through 9th grade teacher license. It's a 2-year online program that includes courses and school-based placements in teaching math, social studies, fine arts, science, and literacy. It ends with a full-time semester-long student teaching assignment. Applications are open, and UW-Whitewater will start the admissions process once it has approval from the Department of Public Instruction. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation says it saw a jump in odometer rollbacks last year. In 2023, only about 1,700 vehicles were found with signs of rollbacks. But then in 2024, nearly 6,000 showed signs of rollbacks. A total of 20 wholesale dealer licenses were revoked by the DMV last year because of odometer and title fraud. That's more than the number of revocations in 22 and 23 combined. You can protect yourself against odometer rollbacks by comparing the vehicle's title to the mileage listed on the odometer, including whether the mileage notation is obscured or altered.
Well, another airline is adding a nonstop flight from the Dane County Regional Airport to New York City. American Airlines will start the new flight on September 3rd. Now, Delta already has nonstop flights to New York City, bringing the total from Madison there to 3. Just last month, the airport said it will offer nonstop seasonal service to Los Angeles International via Breeze Airways starting on May 21st. Meanwhile, millions of Americans are getting ready to travel for Memorial Day weekend. AAA estimates more than 45 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home from Thursday, May 22nd to Monday, May 26th. That sets a new Memorial Travel Day weekend record. The previous one was set 2 decades ago in 2005 when 44 million people took a trip. Well, still ahead, honoring and recognizing the contributions of nurses worldwide.
Plus, President Trump gives drug makers 30 days to lower the cost of prescription drugs. How Big Pharma is reacting to that executive order next at 6.
And you may want to get the umbrellas ready. Blaze returns with some rain in the forecast after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. We have some big farm news to report. The Agriculture Department is suspending live cattle, horse, and bison imports through the U.S. southern border due to the threat of a dangerous flesh-eating parasite. It is called the New World screwworm, which is actually a fly. The name comes from how its maggots feed on an animal by burrowing or screwing into a wound or opening. The New World screwworm was eradicated in the U.S. nearly 60 years ago. The Department of Agriculture says the parasite was recently detected in remote Mexican farms.
President Trump trying to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. The president signing an executive order setting a 30-day deadline for drug makers to lower the cost of prescription drugs and asked his top health officials to meet with pharmaceutical companies to broker a deal. If they fail to do so, Trump says his administration will tie what Medicare pays for some medications to the lowest price paid by other developed countries.
Some prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 50 to 80 to 90%. Big Pharma will either abide by this principle voluntarily or will use the power of the federal government to ensure that we are paying the same price as other countries.
Nearly 1 in 5 Americans is enrolled in Medicare. It's unclear how this will change what the rest of the country pays for prescription drugs. Some pharmaceutical companies released statements opposing the executive order, calling it a step towards socialized medicine, saying it will negatively impact drug research. The courts blocked a similar plan that President Trump tried to implement during his first administration.
Well, today is International Nurses Day, an annual event honoring and recognizing the contributions of nurses worldwide. And this year's theme is focusing on the health and well-being of nurses. According to Gallup, nursing has been named the most trusted profession in the U.S. for more than 20 straight years. Still, challenges persist. Staffing shortages from increased demands, aging and retirement, and a backlogged pipeline for new nurses burnout, distress, and workplace violence are also concerns.
75% of nurses say they have faced some form of violence, harassment, or bullying in the workplace.
While a lot of people think that nurses are only in the hospital, more than 40% of nurses work in other settings like long-term care, home care and schools.
Well, we could see some rain back in the forecast this week. First Warn meteorologist Blaze Keller returns now. Complete look at the forecast. Blaze?
That's right. Some much needed rain is finally returning to central and southern Wisconsin. It was back on the 3rd that we picked up over 0.3 of an inch of rain in the Madison area. Our grand total, though we haven't seen any rain since then, is nearly 2.5 inches, and we usually pick up just over 4 inches of rain throughout the entire month of May. So we've got some ground to make up, and thankfully those rain chances are going to return starting later tonight, continuing into Tuesday and Wednesday, and then on Thursday as well. Unfortunately, Thursday's rain chance also comes with the threat for severe weather. Since 6 days out, so it's now day 4, we've been underneath this 15% threat for severe weather. It's been consistently overhead, and that's what I want to see as we look at these severe weather outlooks. Are we consistently seeing the same data? Is it becoming more clear? And we've been underneath this 15% threat since day 6, so over the weekend. We're going to watch as a low pressure system deepens or strengthens over the Midwest, and that's going to help fuel these storms as we go into Thursday afternoon. This warm front is going to lift through parts of Wisconsin, and this is going to be the front that we're going to be watching. It's going to spark these showers and thunderstorms and possibly some discrete thunderstorms, and those could provide us with some large hail as well as that isolated tornado threat. We're also going to watch to see, do we remain clear during the morning hours? The clearer we are during the morning, the better chance we're going to have of seeing that severe weather. It's not an end-all be-all. It doesn't necessarily mean we see that severe weather, but it only ups our chances. And as we head into the afternoon, mid to late afternoon, here are those showers and thunderstorms moving into parts of Wisconsin. It's 5:30 Thursday on Future Track. We could see more of a line of thunderstorms off towards the northwest. It's further south that we're going to have that better chance for more of those discrete supercells, the ones that produce or have a better chance of producing the large hail as well as those isolated tornadoes. But as we go into the 9-10 o'clock time frame, it's already off into parts of not only Lake Michigan, but Michigan itself. This is going to be a fast-moving system. As we go overnight, we dry out, and then we could see the return of more or less rain Friday afternoon into Friday night as this low pressure system begins to move its way out of the Midwest. There's going to be a lot of energy in the atmosphere. We're going to have warm temperatures, moisture for these storms to play with, and atmospheric energy to maintain their strength. So we're looking at what is the probability of supercell thunderstorms developing over parts of Wisconsin. The oranges and those darker reds indicate a higher chance. So we're seeing that pop up across parts of Wisconsin as we go into that Thursday 5, 6, 7 o'clock time frame. So again, we're going to continue to watch this. Stay with News 3 Now for the latest. We first warned you about this as we went into the weekend so that you can prepare for the possibility of severe weather. We're also going to be watching that atmospheric cap that really killed our chances the last time. That doesn't always happen. So make sure you stay with News 3 Now for the latest. Strong winds, isolated tornado or two, as well as large hail are going to be our main threats. And then the weekend, we will be quiet in the 60s.
Looking forward to some rain, though, so I can stop watering.
Yes, yeah. We definitely need some rain to limit the fire danger and get the grass a little bit greener.
We'll take it. Thanks, Blaze.
The first taste of summer. We're looking ahead to fall, though, because we're already building a Packers schedule.
We
right?
are. We don't know all the games, but we do know one, and it's a big one. Coming up in sports, Packers and Bears will kick off in December. Where and when the two NFC North rivals will play? Find out next on News 3 Now. The entire Packers schedule will be unveiled on Wednesday, but one big-time matchup was announced this afternoon, and it involves the oldest rivalry in the NFL. The Packers will head to Chicago for a Week 16 game against the Bears on Saturday, December 20th. That will kick off at either 3:30 or 7 o'clock. Green Bay hasn't lost at Soldier Field since December 16th of 2018. Well, let's just call this summer the summer of Giannis, because until he makes a decision on if he'll stay in Milwaukee or play somewhere else, it's all anyone will talk about. The latest news is that, according to ESPN, for the first time in his career, the two-time MVP is open-minded about exploring other options to see where will be the best long-term fit for him. Now, a lot can change and will change from now until November, but Andy Katz has released his Power 37 rankings, and the Badgers moved up a couple spots since his end-of-the-year rankings back in March. Wisconsin currently sits 21st in the country. Remember, this is 6-ish months before the season even begins. A long road to return for Brewers pitcher Brandon Woodruff just got a bit longer. Shoulder surgery sidelined Big Woo all of last season, and after 6 rehab starts this year, he was scheduled to make his return on Saturday, but in his final tune-up, he injured his ankle. So now the plan is to rest a week and make another rehab start. On the diamond, after winning their second straight WIAC tournament title, Whitewater Baseball is on to Michigan for regionals, which is a little bit of a head-scratcher considering the Warhawks won both the league outright and the conference tournament. The 2024 national runner-ups will take on Adrian College on Friday. And Whitewater softball will also be on the road for regionals. The Warhawks will travel to Cleveland to take on Penn College on Thursday morning. This is Whitewater's 3rd straight regional appearance.
All right, and coming up on News 3 Now at 10, a special story about a local teenager whose journey with cancer took her to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee. How she sings her way through it and then some. Again, that's tonight at 10.
Well, let's go to Blaze, a final check of the forecast.
It's going to be a quiet rest of your evening and pretty much through most of the overnight. It's after midnight that we start to see the clouds really increase, as well as that chance for showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, and that continues into Tuesday. We're not expecting any severe weather with those storm chances Tuesday or Wednesday. It's Thursday, though, into the evening and afternoon hours that we could.
All right, Blaze, thank you. And thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
See you back here at 10 o'clock.